Well, hello. How are you? I'm so glad to spend this time with you and welcome to Chatting It Up. I'm CJ, also known as Carolyn. I decided to get on camera and do something because I've been feeling somewhat a little bit anxious about things. Um, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way with the uncertainty of our future and what's going on. I'm not talking about we're less than 30 days away of all this stuff that's happening. I don't want to get political, but that is weighing on us. But um, I hope everybody does go and cast their vote. There's a lot of people that did a lot for us to be able to do that. And I take it very much seriously because a good friend of mine uh, reminded me the importance of going out and casting your vote, especially when my parents, who were legal aliens of this country for 65 plus years, they never did cast a vote. It was illegal for legal aliens to vote. But I'm the firstborn American, so I took advantage of it and realized the importance of it. And actually, at this point, I realized that when we cast our vote, it's to improve our current lives. But, now it's kind of like it's taken a turn. It's for the future of our children and our grandchildren and our nieces and nephews that are going to be around long after we are no longer. But the reason for my anxiety and the reason why I wanted to have this is I've entitled it The Eye of the Storm. Quite fitting for today, isn't it? Considering that we've had such disastrous natural disasters. Yeah, I say that bit with sarcasm and a bit facetiously. Um, they come and they go, and they always say that there's a hurricane season. I have my formulated opinions, but we're all going through some form of a storm. Uh my question to you is, what storm are you going through? What is it that you're dealing with? Is it adding stress to your life? Is it something that you can weather? Is it something that you can go through? Um I'm going through a series of storms, and they're all different. I've never been through it before. I'm not saying that my storm is worse than the next person's, but it's my storm and I'm going through it. It still creates the same feeling and sensation of anxiety and stress. So the question is, what are you doing about it? I know I'm going through stress because I find out the way I breathe. We talked about that in past videos, but inhale through the nose, exhale through your mouth, blow out that candle at the other end of the room, and do that a few times. It's called healthy inhaling, healthy breathing. It releases toxins. Really? I don't know, but I'm doing it because I know I'm not breathing properly. Sometimes I find myself holding my breath. And we've talked about that in past uh, videos also, that you will, under stress, and you will hold your breath. You don't even realize that you are. We need to give that some oxygen, and the blood that runs through our veins needs oxygen so that you can work at full capacity. But my heart has just been breaking for the last week for the folks out there in Asheville, North Carolina, that whole area, East Tennessee. They didn't really, in the places in between. There's some places that didn't really get hit. They just got a lot of heavy rain. But what what North Carolina got hit with is it's just unthinkable. That's unfathomable and thinkable put together. My mom's house is being cleared out. My mom passed away. I know I brought that up. You know about that. But my mom passed away in June. I'm in the process of clearing out the house and putting it up for sale. And I just started weeping and weeping. Why? Because these people have nothing. The day before the storm, they were anticipating a lot of rain, a lot of wind, but a tropical depression. And it was a full blown massacre of a storm. It took out towns and little towns in between the major towns. The river was overswollen, the water was basically mud, went up to at least 20 feet plus. People were swept away. The media is not even telling you everything. I'm getting my information from the folks that were boots on the ground. That's not even the government. Don't even get me started with that. Again, I don't want to make this political. But if you want to know what I'm talking about, look it up. There's people that are posting what it's really all about. The casualties have been minimized and it's horrible. And why am I talking about this? Because these people have nothing the day before they actually got hit. The day before they got hit, they didn't know what was going to hit them. They had no idea. And they were just living their life, doing their thing. And they have nothing. If their home was still there, it was unlivable. If they were home, their streets, their roads, their access point to go in and out were gone, wiped out. People don't realize the power of water. And when it comes at you like that, it swept people away, swept animals away. It turned over trucks and buses like it was nothing. The footage is just incredible. People that were on higher grounds were not able to go through wherever they needed to go because those streets were wiped out. The roads were wiped out. Incredible amounts of water. Elderly refusing to leave their home. Maybe they couldn't leave their home. They wanted to. And that's what I'm talking about right now, because I'm in the process of getting rid of a lot of stuff that my mom and dad had. And I'm thinking, how can I get that stuff to the people in North Carolina? My parents are no longer using it. I have this stuff here in California. How do I get it to those people? Does somebody have a truck and you deliver it? But the crazy thing about it is, even if I did have a place to bring it so that the folks or somebody in North Carolina can benefit from it, they have no home. And literally, I look at them and what they're going through, and all I keep thinking about, it's a mainland Maui. What Maui went through, North Carolina's feeling and being treated the same. It's disgusting. But the people, the local people, the people here, the Americans here on their own are helping out. And that's what's happened over in Maui. It was the local people that helped. It's the local people that are helping out there. People from various parts of Tennessee and surrounding states are coming in to help. And they helped immediately. They didn't show up 5 to 7 days later. It's just heartbreaking. My anxiety and my stress is to clear out my mom's house so that I can sell it and move on. It's hard to do that, let me tell you. I've always felt like it was like I'm getting rid of my parents. I feel like I'm throwing them away, or the things that they work so hard for. It's so difficult. My heart goes out to anyone else that's going through that, because I know I'm not the only one on this planet that's going through that. But my heart goes out to other people. But, it made me think, since nobody knows what's tomorrow brings, nobody, it's not promised to anyone. I remember when my mom was in the hospital bed at her home, unable to walk, bedridden. I made sure that I had a bug out bag. So you might ask, what's a bug out bag? I had to learn what a bug out bag was too. But, you watch enough things, you understand a little bit about survival tactics. I'm not expecting the apocalypse to hit quite yet. I hope it doesn't happen in my lifetime, but if it does hit, I'm going to be prepared to take care of myself and take care of my mom. And the bug out bag basically was all the supplies that she needed, and that I could just grab the bag and head out. Grab the bag, grab her, and head out. I had all her incontinence supplies, change of clothes, shoes, socks, you name it. Anything that she needed for her daily care, because that's the whole thing. As a caregiver, it was my responsibility to make sure my mom was safe, clean, and comfortable. It's actually the rules of hospice. But, I realized my mom wasn't going anywhere. I was responsible for her, even for her safety. And not if I had to like suddenly grab and go and, put her in the car and move on. And it was more than that. Because I lived with her, I made sure I thought and planned out, this is how you get to her room. There's only one way to go in and one way to go out. There is another way, but I've blocked that way. But if they have to go past me, I'm going to make sure that I'm well protected so that I can protect her. And think about what I'm talking about. I made sure that I had my, don't laugh at me now. I had a little case that my dad gave me. He asked me one year for my birthday years ago, what do you want for your birthday? And I said, you know what? I don't really want anything. Oh, you know what? It would be really cool, Dad. And he goes, what? I go, how about a slingshot? He goes, a slingshot? And I said, yeah, what about a slingshot? He goes, why do you want a slingshot? I go, I don't know. It's not a gun. I learned how to use it right. I could use it. And he goes, oh, you should get some marbles. I go, yeah, but they're so pretty. I don't want to really use them. He goes, nah, that works out great. I go, well, don't they have like little BBs or little steel balls or something like that you could just pull back and go, like that? And he goes, yeah, but marbles work good. And I'm like, yeah, but they're too pretty. So for my birthday, he got me one of those wrist slingshots. It goes around your wrist. And he goes, yeah, happy birthday. I said, okay. He got me that. And I go, what's in the bag? He goes, I got it from Amazon. It's like, what is it? He goes, open it up. He was so excited. I opened it up. 300 really pretty marbles. I go, oh, you got me the marbles anyway. He goes, yeah. I go, well, I don't really want to lose them now. But I had those by my bed. Because if you know how to work it, you work that little slingshot rubber band nice. You can do all kinds of stuff. Do it sideways, do it right side up. That was my protection. Then someone said at a pew pew store, okay, they were like, you know, another way of protecting yourself is to have pepper gel. I go, oh, pepper spray? No, pepper gel. I go, oh, why gel? And he goes, well, number one, it shoots further, especially if you get the bear gel. I went, oh, okay. He goes, but most importantly, if there's any type of draft, you should be using gel because spray will spray back in your face. I went, oh, you know what? You're right. He goes, not that you're going to be outside, you're going to be inside the house, right? The whole point is to save your mom and stop anything that might be heading towards her room from going any further. I went, oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. So I bought myself some pepper gel. And I went through YouTube and I was looking at saying, oh, okay, how is this going to work? And um, what's gel versus spray, you know? And so I watched this one little girl who, I forgot what her channel was called, but it's called She something. She does all kinds of stuff like with women in mind and 2A safety and protection. And her husband is a instructor for self-defense and for uh, gun classes and things like that. Man, what is the name of her channel? Ah, if I remember, I'll put it in the comments down below. But anyway, she's something. So I found out that, okay, so that's good. And I bought a couple of them and I put like one by my bed and I put one in another place so that if I got out of the room and I needed to grab it that I could. So I was thinking of all these things, you know, not just a bug out bag that if I needed to rescue mom and we needed to leave immediately that, you know, I didn't have to think, oh, you know, because I'm packing like a baby bag, but it was everything for her. Medicines. I put all that stuff in that bag. Things that she would need so that she would be taken care of. I didn't have to think about it, just grab and go. For myself, I'm different. I didn't need to have that. It was more for her. She was my responsibility. And you know, and I bring this up because I think part of my anxiety and what I've been feeling, oh, I hear such stories about people that were in the path of Helene, Hurricane Helene. People that were in their 90 years old, you know, that I saw videos of people saying, my 83-year-old mom, I hadn't heard from her for days. I'm going to try my best to get to them or to get to her and find out she's okay. And just heartbreaking stories of people just trying to get to them. One person in particular was hiking for 2 to 3 hours up an embankment through the woods because the road was washed out, literally was taken out. And these are all like places that run along a riverbed. I've been to North Carolina once before. It's gorgeous. And they, you know, it's just devastating. And these people, they don't have any fancy homes. There's no, you know, it's country living. I think most of them are homesteaders. They take care of themselves. Everything's wiped out. People that were in the city had access to a hotel, but even the hotel said, we can't keep you guys anymore because we don't have any more water. The water source has been contaminated. It's no longer safe because people were starting to get angry and short tempered. The lines for gasoline were just incredibly long. The ATMs were equally long. That's another thing. Tuck away some cash. Tuck away some water. If you have a canister for gasoline that you need, because a lot of people were trying to get gasoline for generators to the people that were stranded. And there weren't any gas cans left. They were like a gallon. And so it's like, oh, I'll take what we can get. I think between Maui and North Carolina, and God forbid, I hope and pray that Milton, who is quickly approaching, is not that bad. It's bad enough that it's coming on the heels of Helene. But it's kind of teaching you, you better be prepped up. And people that know me are aware that I've been saying for the last 3 to 4 years, you better stock up. You don't know what tomorrow brings. Life as you know it will not be the same. You have no idea what's ahead. Just be prepared. And if you're not going to be prepared for yourself, be prepared for someone else, because that's what's happening. A lot of these people are going out and they're helping other people. Their preparedness is for someone else. And I feel like such a doofus sometimes when I look at my belongings that I'm trying to figure out what to do with. And these people have nothing. And I would like, how I was praying last night, kind of crying about it, saying, how can I get these belongings of my parents that could be useful for someone else out there? How can I get it to them? If I had a truck, I would load it up and drive it out there. But even still, if I drove it out there, they don't even have a home sometimes. Elderly. They are not exempt from any type of natural disaster or anything that might be hindering our everyday life. If you're a caregiver, those are things you need to think about. You don't think about it every day because we're pretty self-sufficient, you know? We can do things for ourselves and it won't be an issue. But all of a sudden you have to start thinking about someone else. Parents think about that with their kids. That comes pretty naturally. For new parents, they have to think along those lines. Oh, yeah, I need to think now. I've got someone's relying on me. Somebody's dependent on me. Well, if you're like me, who's never had children, and you're taking care of your parents, all of a sudden you're kind of like, mom and dad know what to do. They took care of me. But then you're also realizing mom and dad are not that age anymore. Mom and dad need help. Mom and dad need you to help them. They may say they don't need it, but they actually do need you. And you need to be that extra smarticle particle for them. It's a big responsibility. It caused me to think in ways that I never thought I would think of, and all for the sake of my mom. I realized too, I better learn how to use some things if something went awry and know how to use those things so that I could protect myself and my mom. Something beyond my fancy little marbles and my slingshot. um, Praise God, I never had to use it. But, you have to think about these things because the world is not the same as it was 20 years ago, 10 years ago. Oh my God, 5 years ago. It's not the same. So, what's your storm? What is it that you're weathering through? Someone told me you got to claw your way through. You need to dig your way through the mountain. The mountain sometimes is so big you can't go around it. You need to chisel. You need to get through that mountain. Get to the other side. You will see the light at the end of that tunnel. And it will be hard and difficult. You will get through it. I do that often now. There's a lot of crap going on, isn't there? What is your storm? There's people there that are going to help out, or you might be helping them out. What is your storm? Sometimes we have to face it head on. Try to find some humor, or even just cry to get it out. I used to say that all the time to my best friend. Just let me cry, let me cry. I just want to get it out of my system. It's okay to do that too. What is your storm? Just remember, when you're in the eye of the storm, it's very calm. So if you're in the middle of a storm, make your way towards the center where the eye is. Things may be swirling all around you. Find your way to that center point. It's calm there. Gather yourself together. Take a deep breath. Blow it out. And get to that other side. Because all things are temporary. Everything is temporary. And if the Lord is in your life, keep that. Don't ever lose yourself and become so cynical that you can't be real with another person. Life may not always be as pristine and glorious as you want it to be. There may be some really ugly moments in life, but even that's temporary. People may have short fuses, but there is goodness in their heart, unless they're from the spawn of Satan. Well, then there's no hope. But for the majority of the part, I will say, generally people are good. Try to focus on that and love yourself in the process, right? Hey, I just want to say, it's always good to hang out with you. I'm glad to be able to vent a little bit with you, to let you know that we're all going through some crappy things, but there's also some great things too. And I'm so glad to spend the time with you. Check out these videos. And remember, be good to yourself and continue to be blessed. Have a good one.